In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Padme Amidala, based upon her appearance from Attack of Clones, and she's figure number 81 as part of the Black Series 6-inch line for the black and red packaging. So, despite her being fairly affordable on the aftermarket still after 5 years, I think she's one of the best Black Series action figures Hasbro ever made. At the time, she was entirely new from the ground up. Every single part about her is new except maybe the droid blaster. Of course, during this time is when the B1 battle droid debuted as well, so I'm not sure which one came first specifically, or which one the droid blaster there was engineered for. And of course, since then, I think a lot of her parts have been reused for other characters. Just one I can think of off the top of my head is the comic book Princess Leia. That seems to be fairly affordable as well. I think she's reutilizing a lot of these parts. So I actually got her pretty soon after she ended up being released out in the wild. I actually got her at Target in February of 2019. I found her, and the battle droid was there as well, and unfortunately I skipped out on the battle droid. Kind of wish I didn't, but at least I got Padme. I knew, at least before she was even announced, that at some point soon we gotta get a Black Series Padme, because at this point the Black Series has been on for 6 years now, and we don't have one of the main characters from the prequel trilogy. And even to this date, she still is the only Black Series Padme we have out there. We're getting the Naboo-themed battlesuit released here soon, within the next couple months, and that one, I'll have to see what the samples look like in person. I do have it pre-ordered, so you'll be sure to see that here on the channel here soon. But even after that one's released, it's possible that this one still might remain the definitive action figure. So she's been in my collection for about 5 years now at this point, and I think she's one of my favorite Black Series action figures. She looks pretty spot on, Natalie Portman. Not 100% accurate, but it's pretty darn close. No complaints about that. But anyways, let's just take a closer look at her. So this is based on her appearance from when they initially go to Geonosis, or at the very end of Tatooine into Geonosis, before she gets all cut up. And the last time we got an action figure in this look for 3 3/4 inch, I think was during the Legacy collection, which I do have that action figure as well. So the head sculpt, like I said, I think that looks pretty good. Natalie Portman. The hair sculpt looks really good. The bun she has back here is a different sculpted piece. As for the hair, the rest of the hair, though, it looks like it's kind of built into the head. It's not like a separate piece as well. Eyes look good. Eyebrows, a little bit less defined. I think they could have done a little bit better with that, but it's not too bad. She does have that spot there on the side of her cheek, which I think is supposed to be like a mole. I noticed all the samples have that. And there's a couple other spots here and there in my sample. I'm not sure if they're all supposed to be there. I'm pretty sure that one there is supposed to be. So overall, pretty good head sculpt. As for the rest of her suit, pretty basic. Not a whole lot to say about it. It's pretty much all whites and grays. She does have her cape here, which is completely molded in plastic. It's a very kind of abrasive material. As you can see, it's kind of dotted. It's entirely molded in plastic. It does have some flex to it. It does have some folds in it. And there is a way to be able to take this off. You have to be very careful about it though, and you can do it without even popping her head off. Let's see if I can do it actually. I've never been able to do it before. It does have enough flex in it where you might be able to. You can just get it over that bun there. And when you look at that, I did manage to get that off. I've never been able to do that before. Later on in the video, I do have a custom robe here, and I'll talk about this a little bit more. I've never been able to get this on her because I have to pop the head off, and I haven't been able to do that yet. So yes, her robe there, it is possible to pop that off. Unfortunately, she does have a little bit of that giraffe neck there. So as you can see, pretty much all white, but there is a lot of detail in her suit here. She does have the silver armbands there. And she has her belt. She does have a holster there for her Naboo blaster. Pouch there. Some pouches there. And her legs, pretty much all white. And the grayish color boots here. In terms of her articulation, she is super articulated. She does have the ball joint at the head there. Pretty good range of motion. She does have hinge at the shoulders and hinged elbows, which the elbows go a little bit past 90 degrees, as you can see. She does have hinged wrists. This one goes in and out, and this one goes up and down. Joint at the midriff there, basically. She has a really good range of motion. And then, of course, hinged hips, and then swivel cut at the thigh, double hinge at the knees, and then rocker ankles. The belt's pretty loose on there. As for accessories, just take that off for your second. And I suppose you could count her belt here as an extra accessory. You can't take it off unless maybe if, obviously if you took her arms off or folded them a certain way, you might be able to get it off. It's loose enough or something can be done. That is technically an extra accessory. We have the Battle Droid Blaster here. She has some nice texturing detail on that. It's got some carbon on it. It's not all just solid black. It looks really good. I'm really impressed with how this turned out. It's very nice. It has the magazine there. And she does hold it well in her hand, as you can see. She has her Naboo blaster here, which at first it looks like it's shaved off at the end there, because that is pretty short compared to what it should be. But that is how it's supposed to be. I'll give an example here. Here's the other Black Series Padme. I'll just give you a comparison between two blasters there. That barrel is just very small. And it's not really a barrel at all. And something else they included that Hasbro often neglects on is an alternative hand. And the difference between the two right hands here is one's geared more for the Battle Droid Blaster. As you can see, it has a wider grip. This one has a much smaller one. And thankfully they are easy enough to switch out. It's not like you have to boil her hand or do anything like that. And it is slightly more tricky to get this other hand in place, and it's because at the end of the peg there has a little bit more of a width there, I suppose, compared to this hand. This one's definitely much easier to get in. This is typically the hand I have her displayed with. I think she looks better holding the Battle Droid Blaster instead of just her Naboo one here. Plus it allows her to hold every single accessory she has. Give her a pose like that. It's pretty good. And that's pretty much all of her accessories. So a little bit more compared to what we normally get in the Black Series. Not too bad. And do a comparison here between the two Padmes. I think both of them look pretty faithful to Natalie Portman, and you could argue these are the best Padme Amidala representations that we have to date, for Hasbro that is. There is a Hot Toys Padme in this particular outfit coming out here soon. I do have that one on pre-order. Should get it at some point this year. I'll be sure to do a review of that. One thing I'll know about the Padme comparisons here, obviously this one doesn't have the exposed midriff. I have heard speculation every now and then that Hasbro is kind of refraining from releasing this particular outfit for whatever reason, kind of similar reasons to like Ula or Slave Leia, for instance. I don't know if any of that's true or not, but to me, it seems like at least for this 3 3/4 inch action figure, it would be an easy repack to do in the vintage collection. And then Figure Arts did do the Padme here with the midriff exposed, and of course Hasbro didn't. I have heard speculation as well that Hasbro knew what they were doing because the Figure Arts one came first, and then as like an alternative look for her, Hasbro did this particular outfit. I don't know the story behind it, but it would, regardless, it would be nice to get this particular outfit in Black Series at some point. And all they would have to do is basically do a retool of this one. All they have to do is new torso, basically. And they could even get really cheap about it and basically just repaint her belly here. I'm sure that would look kind of off, but Hasbro does do that every now and then, especially characters like Gloved Hands. It's not too unusual for them to attempt something like that. So who knows the story behind it, but still, it'd be nice to get that particular version of Padme in the Black Series line. And vice versa, it'd be nice to get this particular version of Padme in the 3 3/4 inch line again. Like I mentioned, the last time we got her was in the Legacy Collection. I do have that figure. I featured that one more in the video for this figure, if you want to check that out. But other than that, well, one more thing. So I did mention I did get this custom cape for her, and unfortunately I would have to pop the head off, and it's very hard to get that head off because, as you can see, it's a very small cut there. Unless there is always the option I could just cut that a little bit more to be able to slip it on top of her head, which is always a possibility. And after doing this review, I'm looking at this more and thinking maybe that's the direction I should end up going. So perhaps at some point I'll experiment with that and see what I can do. But I would like to try it at some point with this. And I think she would look pretty good with it, as you can see there. So we'll save that for another video at some point. And thankfully it's not too difficult to pop her cape back on. I think she looks better with it. But anyways, I think that's pretty much all I can tell you about this Padme Amidala here. So would I recommend her for your collection? I totally would. Like I said, I think she's one of the best Black Series action figures that Hasbro has made. And it's the only Black Series 6-inch Padme we've gotten to date. And even with the new Phantom Menace one here being released soon, I still think this one might be a great contender for the best one. And like I said, she is fairly affordable on the aftermarket. Even to this day, I still see her go for like $14, $15, $16. So if budget's concerned for you, she's definitely well within budget. I'll bring out 2 other action figures that we've taken a look at recently as well. We have Obi-Wan there. And of course, the Chosen One himself. But yeah, solid action figure all around. Like I mentioned, I think she's one of my personal favorites in my collection for the Black Series. She looks pretty spot on to Natalie Portman. All new tooling. And a little bit more accessories than we normally get with the Black Series figures. She's definitely one of the highlights of 2019. I think this action figure would look really good on some of the creatures that are like the Reek, for instance, that Anakin and Padme end up riding at the Geonosis Arena. I think she would fit perfectly with that. Would be nice to get some larger creatures in the Black Series line. Not sure if that's going to happen though, especially after the Rancor. But who knows? That's just a potential idea for Hasbro. But anyways, that concludes this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for plenty more reviews in the future. There will always be more to come. If you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I always appreciate all your support. And check out the links in the description if you haven't done so already. As always, thanks for watching.